So, in reality, obviously, the real laws aren't being enforced, which are reminded biblically and in other books of knowledge, spiritually, in films, fashion art, and etc. All vehicles are supposed to be electronical and flying, as these roads and other locations and places are supposed to be remodeled, rebuilt, taken down, and with those who qualify to build according to lie detector tests that are required for jobs, resources, education, law enforcement, presidential and higher. Anyone below presidential and higher is not allowed to work a presidential position or higher, which includes law enforcement, housing authority, educational representatives, businesses, and whatever else not mentioned. This is illegal, what's going on. And obviously, because the peasant criminals are trying to take over, none of these things are happening around these parts. They make up fake laws all the time. Housing authority and law enforcement are and businesses and educational representatives are supposed to help individuals with their resources, whether it's them calling a jet to come pick them up to deport them to their property or stepping stone, or their disintegration date or location, or to find out if they have a release date. All that's done on a lie detector test. Fake housing authority representatives lie to individuals and say there's a waiting list, come back next time or in a couple years. That is illegal. If real authorities were there, they'd better assist them with blowing their brains out or with disintegration weapons, which are also what some law enforcement and authorities have. Sometimes they only have guns, certain models, because peasant criminals are stealing and the weapons never got upgraded presidentially or higher because of the war we're in. But the other authorities are existent, and they do have disintegration lasers and more, which are used all around the land of dreams. And some peasant criminals think they're never coming for them. They are. They will. And when they do, they'll better deal with them and better assist them with their resources instead of them trying to give resources they're not even allowed to do or have access to, while they really prevent others from their own resources individually. Again, housing authority, Adrian Ponce, Elena Majorado, who supposedly retired and is still collecting presidential fundings, thinking it's funny. She told me she's been committing fraud there for over 30 years. Good luck telling on her that she has her rape gang at law enforcement and more, and no one ever guessed she's in a rape gang because of how she looks. I told her I'm not going based on how you look. It's what you are doing. They pretend to they call it properly housing me and others when they've had me on the streets off and on. They're supposed to put individuals in hotels, pay for their storages and movers presidentially, and order the materials, palace materials and more, castle materials, to build either their property or their prison, either at their birthplace or nearest to it for those who qualify for that. And no properties are supposed to touch each other. Instead, they send illegal landscapers with drywall to stack everyone together that poorly. The president does not fund that poorly. The presidential fundings of George Washington. Disney Company doesn't. Barbie Company, Playboy Bunny Company, Lisa Frank Company, and some other companies I did not mention. Some of the companies are illegal. They just put out their, a business in their memory. So I'm not mentioning all of them, but when you get the right people to keep their companies around, yes, they're supposed to invest also. Whether it's El Pollo Loco, Taco Bell, they're not supposed to look that way. McDonald's used to have characters that were part of those places. Obviously, that place has been remodeled, downsized, and it's so disgusting. Even when I was younger, there was other locations of McDonald's with hamburger patty teacup-like decoration. Ronald McDonald and the crew would come out. Whether I saw them or not, there'd be times of when they make their appearances. Just like at Disneyland, when the characters at certain times come out at certain places. Like, they got you on calendar to be there. So keep them in your schedule and be there too. And that's just an example of what's going on and has been. These retards need to stop. At my school, Orange Coast College in Costa Mesa, California, is another example of retarded people trying to manage the place, claiming that's all they can do. They're not strong enough representatives. I qualify, and if I was in a higher position than a student, I would start painting the fucking classroom pink and throw glitter on it and start decorating with my own fashion designs and say, you know what, students, this is what's going on. This is all I have access to on property because the other doors are locked. Or I'd probably remodel them too. And for them to do the same, get on board, go ahead, grab a mannequin, decorate with one of your designs and keep it on display. And then we'll multiply selected designs and make a little store. Even if it's nonprofit for people passing through, we'll do free makeovers, nonprofit. It's called being a biblical representative individual, which is higher than presidential. Everything is done for free because everybody has their resources by now. And if they don't, who cares? They can always leave a tip later. Those are the truly poor, wanting to cater to those who they think have money. And then victimizing me because I don't have access to my own unlimited funds. That's why I remind them of JCT Pop, Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace. He's another example, another character, another individual who has unlimited funding. And there's biblical Dr. Geniuses that some of them don't even know about him. They don't know his identity. They might know him spiritually, but they will bring him back. Just like if something happens to me, they'll bring me back, whether it's a metal skeleton or a clone, or both, or whatever it is. Same with animals, they're entitled to that, free. I try to get into being an animal doctor, some call a veterinarian, to be a nonprofit, to help the animals get their resources, to start an animal resort where some animals will reside, some will be visiting, and there'll be music lessons, swimming, and more. And all these retarded, lazy people that pick one thing to do with their life, they think they look normal. Oh, I think I'm just gonna sew my life away, literally. And then what? What are they even doing with that? And that's just one example. I'm gonna do everything. I don't need to just stick in the fashion, art, etc. And then, then I'm dead, and then what? And then I go to the next realm and I live forever. And then if someone brings me back, they do. If they don't, they don't. And then the heavens and earth combine eventually anyway. And then others will say, well, at least you got a resources that way. Like, that's another way to do it. That's their sentence, and that is not true. That's not how it works. Fake animal doctors have no business being there, and they have no business charging animals rent or anything. Animals are entitled to their unlimited funding and their resources too. This is unbelievably sickening. Duck Park, there should be a giant castle for all the ducks to reside in, and their little pond should be purified. And then there should be giant boats shaped and designed to look like different ducks that people passing through could ride in, like a little ride. And when they go through the castle tunnel, they can see the ducks and how they live. Like they got their resources, at least some of them. And they'll also have music lessons and more. And their own pastry company and whatever else with all the vitamins they need, omega-3, vitamins A through Z, which will also be accessible to those passing through, because it'll be for animals and humans, their pastry company. And then they'll go through the tunnel again, if they want to, on different duck designs. That's just one example of something that needs to happen, and the water needs to be purified. It's like a waterfall where it's like drinkable. You can just put your cup in the falls and you can actually drink it. And it'll be, doesn't really matter what color really, as long as it's clean. I'd only imagine there'd be a rainbow and some glitter. And even the ocean is supposed to happen. Just because the water in Hawaii looks clean does not mean it is. That's what I'm talking about. And just because water might look dirty doesn't mean it is either. But the fact is, sometimes that is the truth of it. And the humans are responsible. This goes back to Adam and Eve and biblical education. When Adam was created and Eve, they were supposed to save the animals. Instead, they chose perversion. Then Noah's Ark, another character, got selected to save the animals by himself. He didn't want to listen to King God entirely. He thought, well, oh, if I can't do that all by myself. So he brought some individuals, humans, that he claims are his family just because they're blood relatives. He brought them aboard. They did not save the animals. They were supposed to fix them to help in multiplying. And that didn't happen either. King God keeps creating these situations called crown testers to see what you're going to do, claiming the choice is yours. The other gods and goddesses say, no, it's not. This is what you need to do, is always do the right thing. And if it looks like you're doing the wrong thing and someone forced you to by hypnotic, memory deletion, twist with psychology, well, then remain innocent during those times. Also, and then the crime really isn't yours, it's theirs. Anyways, I'm too educated for these low-class trash people. I've been trying to reach out at Orange Coast College. Again, I've been a student there for like almost 10 years. I haven't been promoted, and I call the location. I have to use my imagination. I imagine that it looks how it's supposed to. I call it the Island of Dreaming and the Land of Dreams. There should be a giant lipstick, a giant mannequin, a giant thread, a giant diamond around the fashion department. There should be a giant ship at the admissions. So when you get approved, they can tell the student, welcome aboard. Literally, at this location, like you're allowed to be there. And for those that are not, they'll have another ship to deport them if needed that flies electronically and lights up. There should be a giant bubble, a clear one, for animal doctors to show they're saving animals. Culinary arts, there should be like a giant cake to walk in. It could be a 3-tier or 5-tier, however many floors it needs to be. This is what needs to happen, and whatever subjects are left out, art could be a giant spray can. There could be a jewelry box that has a ballerina that rises out of it every hour, and it'll be a sculpture of myself, and it'll be a jewelry making class, and more. And the spray can for art, I think I might have already said that. Whatever else not mentioned, a giant radio for hip-hop and that kind of theater, those kind of performances, and then obviously comedy and tragedy and a Jack-in-the-Box that pop out for, you know, more like drama-style plays and theatrical type thing going on over there, so it's kind of different from what you'd see, obviously, at the radio. These people are poor, is what they are. They pretend they're rich when they steal these positions that are for the rich. Rich. The definition of it is a victim. Doesn't matter if they have no talent at this time. Everybody is made into fashion, art, and etc. And some qualify and are entitled to a higher education, and some aren't. Like myself, I'm seeking to be a biblical doctor genius. Again, they deal with metal skeletons, clones, real medicine, natural remedies, necessary procedures only. They're at the top of the medical field. Anyone that's already in the medical field that qualifies, they're supposed to keep learning and get a higher education forever. There's always new things coming out, like inventions. That's also in the biblical doctor genius field. I reached out to Invent Company for some of me, my daughter, and my cat Electric Gizmo III's glitter litter idea. And all they did was patent it that poorly and document a book. Way to go, Rachel, you thought of that. And they didn't put my full name. They didn't put the full story. Even what I advertised on my webpage and Facebook of what it's supposed to be. And I even did a presentation in person. My daughter got abducted. My school at the time gave me the money to invest in the idea that I shouldn't be paying for. The company, Invent Help, is supposed to fund everything. This idiot, Michael Moore, who thinks it's funny, or I don't know who put him there to steal a job, falsely representing that company, Invent Help, when they have biblical doctor geniuses and everything that help bring ideas to life, because I don't have access to the materials to do it myself. It's that easy to put that idea on the shelf if I had access to the materials of what I advertised. I even dressed up like a glitter cat, and I brought glitter in a glass of different colors. I brought plastic diamonds of how the glitter litter is supposed to overall look. I brought a packaging, and I designed it all like a sample. And the retard, Mike Moore, that's M-U-I-R, is the last name of his spelling. Again, he claims the idea will happen in stores like it's supposed to for the animals. And the way I want to do it is nonprofit. The animals can have unlimited access. If the humans want it to, they'll probably purchase a bag if they're using it for artwork or something. I don't know. Or leave a tip in a giant jar, like a milk-looking jar, kind of like, you know, those old-fashioned milk jars. There can be a giant one at the end of the aisle where the glitter litter is going to be at whatever stores it's at. And then I was also going to throw events of free spaying and neutering once I get the education, and free bathing. I already know how to do that. And while the humans, for the ones that the animals have humans, they can make a fashionable collar or something while waiting. Then all these retarded people, what do you mean for free? What do you mean nonprofit? That's how it's supposed to be. I'm a biblical representative individual. Look what I put out there versus you. Even if someone does really pretty work who doesn't qualify, well, good for you. You did that in your memory. Good luck with it. Whatevs. These people are evil, is what they are. They're victimizing sickos. Anytime they do anything normal, they act like the world owes them. Well, the world doesn't really exist. It's called the land of dreams, biblically. So, scientists, good luck, because they're stupid. Biblical science tops science. Biblical science is facts, and science isn't always. And whatever else not mentioned. I have a webpage. I put tons of biblical education, fashion art, etc., and more stories, ideas. It's illegal what's going on. This is just, look at reality at some places and locations. It's because peasant criminals. Whenever it's what it's supposed to be, it's not because of them. Bye.